The holographic chamber pulsed with cold light, reflecting off the polished obsidian floor of the Galactic Council's flagship. Supreme Envoy Zalver's towering figure dominated the projection, his alien features sharp, angular, impossibly symmetrical. His voice resonated with authority, filling every corner of the hall. You have 10 cycles to submit. Compliance is mandatory. Resistance will be met with eradication. Zalver intoned, his eyes, if they could be called that, glinting with absolute certainty. On Earth, millions of eyes turned skyward. News feeds flickered with the same chilling message, translated into every human language. Governments convened emergency councils, military commands activated contingency protocols, and scientists raced against time, but one man remained calm amidst the storm. Dr. Ayaan Rhea, xenobiologist and strategist, stood in the underground lab beneath what used to be the ruins of the old United Nations headquarters. The lab hummed with energy, wires and conduits snaking across walls like veins. Screens displayed neural scans, quantum field data, and physiological anomalies no human had fully understood. Dr. Rhea, these readings, they don't make sense, said Lieutenant Marichin, her brow furrowed as she pointed to a series of fluctuating graphs. Human cognitive response rates are off the charts. Even against the simulations of alien neural attacks, they're adapting faster than expected. Ayaan leaned over, tracing the patterns. It's more than adaptation. There's a resonance forming between our neural pathways and ambient quantum energy fields. It's like the planet itself is awakening something in us. Mara blinked, incredulous. Awakening? You mean? Yes. Ayaan interrupted, voice low but resolute. Something the Council never predicted. We've been underestimated because they can't sense what lies dormant in our biology. We're more than resourceful. We're resilient at a level they've never encountered. Above them, the faint hum of approaching alien ships vibrated through the substructure. Earth's orbital defense systems lit up as automated fleets scrambled to intercept. Conventional weapons were deployed, but they were largely symbolic, a warning rather than a true defense. The Council didn't expect humanity to strike back in any meaningful way. Ayaan's fingers flew across the interface. Initiate the prototype sequence, he ordered. A pulsing chamber in the center of the lab ignited with soft blue light. Humans volunteered to step in, their bodies tethered to the device, neural interfaces synchronizing with the quantum fields around the planet. Are you sure about this? Mara asked. Her voice carried hesitation, a rare human uncertainty in a time that demanded precision. Ayaan met her gaze. If we don't, we're done. And if we do, we might just survive, and maybe even show the galaxy what it underestimated. The first volunteer's neural spikes synchronized with the device. A surge of energy coursed through the lab, and the screens erupted with data patterns that defied conventional mathematics. Every human present felt it. A strange awakening, a sudden clarity, as if their minds had stretched beyond known limits. Outside, alien reconnaissance drones hovered in orbit, scanning for any sign of threat. Their sensors detected nothing unusual, just humans going about their frantic preparations. They did not perceive the subtle changes occurring in neural oscillations, the latent energies awakening in human tissues, or the subtle manipulation of quantum fields that only Ayaan's device could amplify. In the Council flagship, Zalver tilted his head, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. There's an anomaly, he said, voice tighter than before. Monitor the signal. It is minor, insignificant, but persistent. On Earth, Ayaan observed the volunteers' reading spike. It's working. Everyone, focus on the resonance, let align naturally. As the energy fields coalesced, individuals began to experience heightened perception. Thoughts became clearer, reactions faster, and coordination between humans grew almost instinctively. It was subtle but undeniable. Mara shook her head in awe. They'll never see this coming. Not the Council, not anyone. Humanity is rewriting the rules without even firing a shot. Ayaan nodded. We have to be careful. This is only the beginning. If the Council detects the full potential, they'll respond with everything they have. But if we control it, we have leverage beyond their imagination. The first confrontation occurred hours later. Alien scouts descended toward the Pacific, testing Earth's defenses. Humans had no full-scale fleet capable of engaging them head-on, but improvisation became their weapon. Submersible drones, electromagnetic disruptors, and energy-harnessing cannons, previously untested, were deployed. Within minutes, the scouts experienced interference they could not counter. Systems glitched, engines faltered, and one vessel dropped out of orbit entirely, its occupants frozen in shock at the unexpected resilience of the planet's inhabitants. In the underground lab, Ayaan observed the reaction. "They're underestimating us," he muttered. "They've assumed primitive responses. They don't see the awakening. Yet." A communication ping sounded from Central Command. "Dr. Rhea, the Council wants a direct line. Supreme Envoy Zalver requests a personal briefing," a voice announced. Ayaan exhaled sharply. "Then it begins. They've noticed the anomaly, but not its magnitude. Let's make sure they regret underestimating us." Meanwhile, across the globe, subtle signs of human transformation were emerging. Civilians, scientists, soldiers, anyone connected to the quantum field experiments, demonstrated uncanny problem-solving, intuition in danger, and physical adaptation. It was not mere evolution. It was awakening. Humanity, long thought fragile and inconsequential, was quietly bending reality in small, imperceptible ways. Zalver, back on the flagship, frowned. His confidence faltered as reports trickled in. It cannot be. A single species cannot achieve such coordination, such adaptation, without external assistance. His eyes, for the first time, betrayed a hint of fear. Ayaan, observing the alien communications, allowed himself a small, controlled smile. The Council had delivered their ultimatum, believing humans would cower. Instead, the spark had ignited. "Prepare the next phase," he told his team. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy thinks it can command us. They are about to learn the cost of underestimation." In the vast silence of space, alien eyes scanned Earth, oblivious to the storm brewing below. But the first seeds of the awakening had already taken root, and humanity's unyielding potential would not be contained. It was a moment before a revolution, a quiet, electric pause, as the underestimated species stretched beyond every expectation, ready to awaken fully. The skies above Earth shimmered with unfamiliar light as alien fleets circled the planet, their hulls glinting like polished gemstones under the sun. The Galactic Council, confident in its centuries of dominance, assumed humanity's earlier success had been a fluke. They were about to be proven wrong. Deep within the rebuilt network of subterranean labs, Dr. Ayaan Rhea studied the latest reports. Screens displayed streams of data from orbital drones, sensor satellites, and reconnaissance probes. Each reading confirmed a truth that left him both exhilarated and wary. Humans were adapting faster than the Council's predictions. Lieutenant Mara Chen's voice broke the tense silence. "They're approaching Lagrange Point 3. Recon fleet formation. No standard tactics, but they're probing all vectors. Ayaan, they've noticed our anomalies. This won't be a test anymore." Ayaan's eyes narrowed. "Exactly. And it's time we turn their arrogance into a mistake." He tapped the interface, initiating a series of rapid countermeasures. Deploy the adaptive electromagnetic disruptors. Target the hull integrity fields first. Keep them off balance, but don't overcommit. In orbit, alien sensors flared. Zalver's voice, calm but laced with irritation, echoed across the fleet comm channels. "Maintain formation. Target any human resistance with precision strikes. They are inferior. Their interference is negligible." But beneath the Council's confidence, unease began to ripple. Reports streamed in, drones disabled without apparent cause, communication relays disrupted, and several ships registering unexplained energy surges. Back on Earth, Ayaan moved among his team, issuing rapid instructions. Focus on improvisation. They expect standard defense protocols. Let's give them something they can't model. Mara, reroute the submersibles to generate quantum field interference near their engines. The rest of you, synchronize the neural amplifiers with localized energy nodes. Make them work for every centimeter they gain. Mara hesitated, concern flashing across her face. Do we risk overloading the system? If the resonance backfires, Ayaan cut in sharply. It won't backfire if we remain in control. That's why we lead it, not the field. Humanity doesn't just react, we anticipate. That's our advantage. Above the Pacific, the first alien vessel encountered the human defenses. Electromagnetic pulses rippled through its hull, causing erratic thrust behavior. Internal systems stuttered as energy fields formed spontaneously around human cities. The alien crew struggled to understand what they saw. The supposed primitive species was defying physics as they knew it. Report. Zalver barked through the comm, explaining the anomalies immediately. A young officer hesitated. Supreme Envoy, our engines are being disrupted by localized quantum interference. It is unprecedented. Zalver's mandibles clenched. Impossible. Their science should not allow this. Redirect full shields to compensate. Do not underestimate them. Meanwhile, in the lab, Ayaan and his team worked with synchronized precision. Every human volunteer participating in the awakening now functioned as an adaptive node. Their neural resonance interacted with energy grids, drones, and even civilian vehicles modified for defense purposes. Every improvisation amplified Earth's defensive capabilities. Mara observed, on her eyes. They're learning as they engage. Every move the aliens make, humans anticipate and counter. It's like we're evolving in real time. Ayaan allowed a small, tight smile. They've assumed humans are predictable. That's their flaw. We aren't predictable, we're persistent. We innovate under pressure. That's something no simulation can replicate. In orbit, Zalver's frustration grew. Several scout ships had been disabled or forced into emergency retreats. The Council's analysts recalculated, only to find that humans had no single tactical pattern. Yet each countermeasure fit together seamlessly, as if coordinated by a single mind. The confrontation escalated. Alien fleets attempted orbital bombardments. Kinetic projectiles were intercepted by sudden magnetic pulses that deflected or absorbed energy. Scout ships, expecting minimal resistance, were caught in traps that utilized both human ingenuity and the newly awakened resonance energy. Aboard the flagship, Zalver's patience cracked. They adapt faster than we anticipated. Increase frequency of direct strikes. Do not let them establish momentum. Yet the more he pushed, the more human resistance evolved. Every strike became a teaching moment for Earth. Soldiers, scientists, and volunteers operated in sync with one another, anticipating encountering alien movements with a fluidity no algorithm could calculate. Ayaan leaned over a terminal. Mara, see that cluster over the Indian Ocean? Initiate the phase shift. Use the resonance from the city grid to create a temporary orbital distortion. Draw their units into field and disrupt their formation. Mara's fingers flew across the controls. Initiating now. Moments later, a section of the alien fleet wavered, engines stuttering as a temporary distortion overwhelmed their navigation systems. Ships collided or were forced to retreat, leaving the Council officers scrambling to recover order. Below, human morale soared. Civilians witnessing the orbital chaos from safety zones cheered at the ingenuity and resourcefulness displayed above them. News feeds broadcasted selective victories, emphasizing the unexpected resilience of humanity. The awakening was no longer confined to labs. It was becoming a global phenomenon. Zalver, for the first time, allowed a flicker of doubt. They cannot sustain this, can they? Ayaan's voice, calm but unwavering, echoed in the lab. Sustain? We're not just surviving. We're learning, adapting, and turning their superiority against them. The galaxy believes we are weak. That assumption will cost them everything. As night fell, Earth's surface glowed faintly with energy nodes linked to human minds, a web of adaptive defense shimmering like fireflies across continents. Alien fleets, though vast and powerful, had been slowed and scattered by unpredictability and human ingenuity. Mara glanced at Ayaan. How far can this go? They're not expecting anything like this. But what if they regroup with full force? Ayaan's eyes, reflecting the glow of quantum fields, were steely. Then we evolve again. Every attempt they make teaches us. Every misstep strengthens us. Humans are underestimated because we do the impossible when survival demands it, and survival we will have. In the Council flagship, Zalver made a rare decision. Prepare the heavy fleet. If they are indeed evolving, We must crush them before they reach full potential. Unseen by the Council, humanity continued to adapt. Every failure of the aliens became a lesson. Every countermeasure became a new edge. The awakening spread like wildfire, subtle yet unstoppable. The first phase of the Galactic Clash had ended not with human defeat, but with the Council's shock and humanity's quiet triumph. The galaxy had begun to notice a terrifying possibility. Humans, long considered insignificant, were no longer ordinary, and the worst was yet to come. The first light of dawn spread across Earth, but was unlike any sunrise before. Cities glimmered with faint, unearthly luminescence as energy nodes activated in synchrony with human neural resonance. Across continents, millions of humans connected to the awakening, their senses sharpened, reflexes instantaneous, minds aligned with the subtle quantum fields pulsing through the planet. Humanity was no longer merely surviving. It was evolving. Dr. Ayaan Rhea stood at the command center, overlooking holographic projections of the alien fleets massing in orbit. Supreme Envoy Zalver had escalated the conflict, sending the heaviest warships ever assembled against Earth. Their combined firepower dwarfed anything humans had faced, but the awakening had shifted the battlefield. Lieutenant Marichin approached, her voice steady. They're forming a blockade at Lagrange points 1 and 2. Their calculations show a coordinated assault, but they still can't anticipate our response patterns. Ayaan studied the holograms. That's the advantage. They expect linear strategies. We respond dynamically, evolving in real time. Every move they make feeds our adaptation. Humanity is not just reacting. We are learning faster than any model they can simulate. The first strike came without warning. Orbital bombardments ripped through clouds, yet automated energy fields, amplified by the awakened volunteers, absorbed most of the kinetic and plasma bursts. Cities shivered but remained intact. Humans, connected to quantum grids, intuitively directed energy flows, stabilizing structures and neutralizing damage before it became catastrophic. Mara's eyes widened as she observed the data streams. The resonance field, it's stabilizing the entire planet's energy grid. Even our satellites are feeding back enhanced power into the defense nodes. This is unprecedented. Ayaan nodded. And it's only the beginning. Now we show them that the species they underestimated is unstoppable when fully awakened. In orbit, Zalver's fury was palpable. Do not let them consolidate. Deploy phase disruptors and quantum destabilizers. Eradicate the nodes before they gain momentum. But every action he ordered was countered almost before it could execute. Humans had begun improvising in ways the Council could not predict. Drones swerved mid-flight, energy beams refracted by adaptive fields, and ships were disabled without a single direct strike. The Council fleet's algorithms crashed under the unpredictable coordination of human ingenuity and awakened resonance. On Earth, Ayaan moved among his team, issuing precise instructions. Redirect city nodes to orbital convergence points. Let their fleet enter the distortion fields. Exploit every energy fluctuation. Remember, predictability is their weakness. Improvisation is ours. Mara's fingers danced over controls, watching the alien ships falter. It's beautiful. Every time they adjust, we're already 2 steps ahead. They cannot match this. Ayaan allowed himself a rare smile. It's the human spirit. They've always assumed we are weak, disorganized, insignificant. But under pressure, we do what no one else can. We innovate, we adapt, and we endure. The climax unfolded over hours. Alien heavy cruisers, confident in their technological superiority, fell one by one to coordinated interference fields and energy redirection. Orbital strikes intended to devastate cities were neutralized mid-flight. Scouts attempting sabotage were rendered inert, frozen by subtle shifts in gravity fields manipulated by human engineers. Every loss was a lesson, every obstacle an opportunity. On board the Council flagship, Zalver's composure faltered. Impossible! This species cannot sustain such adaptation. Deploy the full quantum annihilation array. But the array failed before it could fire. Human-directed interference, amplified by the resonance of millions, redirected the energy safely into the upper atmosphere. Ayaan observed the readings, voice calm but resolute. We didn't just survive. They've handed us the tools to ensure they never dominate again. Humanity's triumph was not merely technical. It was symbolic. Across the globe, humans took to the streets, not in panic, but in unity. Communication grids, previously limited, now pulse with instantaneous understanding. Military, civilian, and scientific communities operated in near-perfect synchrony, coordinating planetary defense and projecting unprecedented strategic foresight. Ayaan addressed his team through the global network. This is what the Council never anticipated. Our species is underestimated, but we are now awake. Today, the galaxy learns that humans do not bend, they adapt. We do not yield, we innovate, and we will not be controlled. The Council fleet faltered, scattered by unpredictable maneuvers and subtle manipulations of energy fields. Ships collided, engines failed, and the once mighty armada became a disorganized, vulnerable collection of metal and arrogance. Zalver, facing the undeniable truth of human capability, allowed a moment of quiet fury and fear. Supreme Envoy, one subordinate whispered, They are beyond containment. Full force is insufficient. Retreat or risk total annihilation. Zalver's eyes, for the first time, reflected genuine uncertainty. Prepare for withdrawal, but mark the species. They are dangerous beyond reckoning. Underestimation has been our gravest error. On Earth, Ayaan watched the alien vessels retreat, his expression a mixture of triumph and contemplation. This is the consequence of ignorance. The galaxy assumed humans were insignificant, but every assumption against us has been a miscalculation, and it will not be repeated. Mara leaned beside him, exhaling. Do you think they'll ever come back? Ayaan shook his head slowly. If they do, they will remember this moment. But humanity has changed. We've awakened not only to survive, but to lead. The galaxy now knows that underestimating humans comes at a cost it cannot afford to pay. Across continents, the awakening reached its peak. Individuals now exhibited intuitive problem-solving that surpassed any alien technology, physical adaptation that countered environmental hazards, and coordinated action that rivaled entire fleets. Earth itself seemed alive, a network of conscious energy guided by the species it nurtured. The first phase of human dominance in the interstellar arena was complete. No empire had survived its encounter with the awakening unscathed. But the lesson was clear. Humans were no longer insignificant. They were a force to be reckoned with, a species that transformed adversity into power and underestimation into opportunity. Ayaan stood alone for a moment, looking up at the stars. The Council thought they were teaching us submission. Instead, they awakened the species that would define the next era of the galaxy. And we have only begun. Humanity had survived the first galactic test. Not by brute force alone, but by ingenuity, resilience, and the indomitable spark that no alien could suppress. Earth glowed with quiet triumph. Its people awake to a power long hidden, ready to write their own destiny. The galaxy would never again forget Earth, nor the species that had been underestimated for millennia. The awakening was complete, and humanity had emerged not just as survivors, but as pioneers, arbiters, and architects of a new cosmic order. The silence after the retreat of the Council fleet was profound, but it was not peace. Across Earth, every human knew that the awakening had changed more than their immediate survival. It had shifted the balance of power in the galaxy. Every system that had once looked down on humanity now trembled at the possibility of what humans could accomplish. Dr. Ayaan Rhea moved to the command center, now expanded to accommodate the global network of awakened humans. Holographic maps displayed star systems previously controlled by the Council, now exposed and vulnerable. The scale of opportunity and responsibility weighed heavily on him. Lieutenant Marichin approached, her tone measured. Ayaan, intelligence reports from intercepted Council communications indicate panic. Entire sectors are questioning the competence of their rulers. This could destabilize multiple empires. Ayaan's gaze fixed on the holographic projection of the Milky Way. It's more than destabilization. The galaxy assumed we would remain insignificant. Now they realize we can act, and they fear that potential. Our advantage is timing. We strike strategically, not recklessly. Above Earth, small reconnaissance vessels of previously neutral alien races arrived cautiously, observing humans' coordination. These civilizations had never considered humanity a threat, yet now they watched with hesitation. The ripple of the awakening had begun to extend beyond planetary defense. It was reshaping interstellar politics. Orders from Global Command, Mara reported. We have a council of humans coordinating planetary defense and outreach. We can offer alliances to species that wish to resist council dominance. Or we can stand alone. Your decision, Ayaan. Ayaan paused, considering. We extend an offer, but cautiously. Our strength is our unpredictability. Allies can amplify that strength or compromise it. Approach those who understand and respect our capabilities, not those seeking to control us. As preparations began, Zalvar's flagship hovered near a now-quarantined orbital sector. Communication signals, previously authoritative, were fractured with urgency. They're organizing. Zalvar hissed to his subordinates. This is not a defense, it is strategy. They are thinking beyond survival. They are adapting faster than any species should be able to. Back on Earth, Ayaan initiated a simulation with the Awaken network. Every fleet movement, every potential strike, we anticipate multiple responses. Our neural resonance allows near-instant coordination. The galaxy underestimates us at its own peril. Mara studied the models. The Council's fleets are massive, but their coordination is rigid. They cannot predict improvisation, only repetition. That's our edge. We exploit it. Ayaan's voice held a rare intensity. Remember, Mara, this is not about revenge. The galaxy underestimated humanity for centuries. Now we demonstrate our value, our power, and our intelligence. Every action must reflect who we are, adaptable, resilient, and unyielding. The first challenge arrived in the form of a coordinated strike on the outer colonies of humanity's interstellar allies. Alien fleets intended to test the limits of human influence and the newly awakened individuals. Ships approached in calculated formation, confident in their ability to subdue the primitive species before it could react effectively. Ayaan activated the planetary network, linking every awakened human to strategic nodes. Let them come. Every movement they make will feed our adaptation. Synchronize with energy grids, magnetic fields, and orbital satellites. Turn their certainty into chaos. The battle unfolded like a carefully choreographed symphony of improvisation. Alien strike craft faltered against dynamic energy fields. Fleet maneuvers that would have decimated human colonies were neutralized by precise, instinctive human responses. Where the enemy expected predictable defense, they found ingenuity, and every failed maneuver strengthened humanity's advantage. Look at their formation, Mara noted, pointing at the holographic display. They're trying to recover, but every adjustment triggers a cascade of failures. Their predictions are collapsing under our improvisation. Ayaan's expression was unwavering. Humans are underestimated because we do not conform to expectation. Every species that assumes superiority over us has failed. Let this be another lesson for the galaxy. As the battle progressed, a remarkable phenomenon became evident. Human coordination was evolving beyond technological assistance. Individuals demonstrated instinctive spatial awareness, predicting enemy maneuvers before they occurred. Small teams neutralized entire squadrons without a single error. The Council's heavy cruiser, the pride of its fleet, was the first to fall. It entered a human-engineered interference field. Its engines overloaded and communication networks disrupted. The vessel spun helplessly in orbit, a stark emblem of the galaxy's miscalculation. Zalvar's voice, now edged with desperation, transmitted across remaining vessels. Withdraw immediately. Humanity cannot be contained. Yet even as the Council fleets retreated, Ayaan reminded his team to maintain discipline. Victory is not about destruction alone. It is about demonstrating potential. The galaxy must recognize humanity's worth, not fear it recklessly. We enforce respect, not mindless domination. Mara nodded, impressed by his restraint. We have the power to crush them entirely. Yet you choose strategy over vengeance. That's human. Ayaan allowed a brief smile. Our species has survived by knowing when to act and when to hold back. This is our defining trait. Let the galaxy remember it. Across human networks, messages were transmitted to other civilizations. Earth offered alliances, sharing the knowledge of the awakening and potential for collaborative advancement. Several alien species responded, cautious but intrigued, acknowledging humanity as a new force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, Zalvar's fleet limped away, scarred and demoralized. He transmitted a final message to Earth. The Galactic Council underestimates humanity at its peril. This encounter is not over, but you have awakened something dangerous. Remember, Dr. Rhea, arrogance is survival's deadliest flaw. Ayaan reviewed the message, turning to Mara. They recognize us now, not as primitives, not as a threat to be ignored, but as equals, perhaps even as superiors. Their regret is profound, and it is the beginning of a new era. As night fell, the planet pulsed with subtle energy, a tangible echo of the awakening. Humanity had survived not through sheer force, but through ingenuity, resilience, and an unyielding spirit. Ayaan reflected on what they had achieved. The Council had underestimated them, but in doing so, they had catalyzed the rise of a species capable of reshaping the galaxy. Mara glanced at him. Do you think they'll ever truly forgive us for this? Ayaan's gaze turned to the stars. Forgiveness is irrelevant. Recognition, that is what matters. They will remember this moment for the rest of their histories. And the galaxy will never again mistake humans for insignificant creatures. We are awake. We are here. And we will be ready for whatever comes next. The awakening had reached its peak. Humans stood not as mere survivors, but as architects of a new cosmic order. The galaxy's empires, once unchallenged, had faced the consequences of arrogance. And as Earth glimmered under the night sky, every human knew they were part of something larger, something unstoppable. The reckoning was complete. Humanity had emerged from underestimation stronger, smarter, and united. And for the first time in history, the stars themselves seemed within reach.